You've probably noticed that whatever you do to change, you cannot please everyone. Today I wanted to share with you a story brought to us by the 12th century historian, geographer and poet Ibn Said from Al-Andalus. The story is called The Miller, His Son and the Donkey. Once upon a time, an old miller and his son had a donkey, which started to become a bit too old, and they decided the next day to bring him to the village fair to sell him. So the next day they took the donkey early in the morning and set off to the village. So they didn't want to tire the donkey, which was already very old, so they all kept walking. As they were walking, they came across someone coming from the village, and when they looked at them, they said, "Look at these idiots, they have a donkey and don't make use of it. What kind of idiots are they?" So hearing this, the miller felt a bit embarrassed and he decided to put his son on the donkey, and they continued towards the village. So they kept walking a bit further until they came across a group of merchants. The merchants looked at them and they saw the son sitting on the donkey and the old miller walking beside them, and they said, "What cruel son! He lets his old man walk alone while he is comfortably sitting on the donkey. What kind of son is that?" So the son felt guilty, so he climbed down from the donkey and he asked his father to sit on the donkey instead, and so they carried on. So they continued further with the miller sitting on the donkey and his young son walking beside them, until they came across a group of women carrying baskets. They saw the situation and the women said, "Why are you letting your young son walk beside the donkey? Your donkey looks strong enough. Why don't you, both of you, sit on the donkey?" So the miller listened to them and brought his son back on the donkey, and they carried on. And they carried on further, both of them sitting on the donkey, while they came across a group of people later down the road. So the people looked at them and said, "Look at these two evil people exploiting their poor old donkey, both of them overburdening the poor animal. You should be ashamed to even let this donkey walk." The miller and his son felt really guilty and embarrassed for the donkey. So they thought of an idea. How is it possible not to let the donkey walk? So they found a very large and long wooden pole. They decided to tie the legs of the donkey to this pole and carry the donkey on the pole tied up on their shoulders. And when further down the road they arrived at the village, everyone burst in laughter, making fun at them, mocking them. "Look at these people, they have a donkey, don't know how to use it, they carry the donkey on their shoulders." But the loud laughter of the people and all the noise distressed the donkey, which started to wiggle and try to free himself from the ropes. The donkey kept moving and moving until the miller and his son crossed over a bridge over a river, and the donkey wiggled so much that he eventually freed himself, but slipped from the bridge and fell into the river to his death. Whatever you do to please people, you're always going to find someone having a problem with what you do, what you say, the way you behave, the way you look. You're never going to be enough for everyone. So what the miller and his son should have done, instead of listening to the people who, some of them were, I am sure, really well-intentioned, they had the interest of the miller, his young son, or the donkey in their minds and just spoke their own opinion. But who are the people who had all the information and the variables to know who would be overburdened, who would be the weakest in a situation? Of course, it's the miller and his son. Only them knew the state of and the capacity of the donkey and the capacity of themselves. How long would they be able to walk? And this is why they set out to walk separately in the first place, so the donkey wouldn't be tired and the dad surely had enough capacity to carry on until the village. But this shows that why, if you don't have a moral compass which is strong enough and you rely on people, whether it is your parents, it is your relationships, it is people at work, people you feel may have power or authority over you, well, you're never going to go somewhere, because these people don't have all the full information that you have about your own life and your own choices. So as long as you reflect and make these informed decisions and just stick to it, as long as you're not harming anyone, just go for it. And if you actually need to change something and improve something in your personality, be sure that the people who care about you will never mock you or make fun of you. They will tell you constructively what do you need to improve for you to change, and this is when you can take on board their advice and feedback. I hope it was useful. Thank you for watching, and again, take care of yourselves.